What's good, you guys? It's your boy Jay Freshman back with another tutorial. Today I want to go over the 10 secrets you probably wish you knew starting out in FL Studio. And we're going to split this video into two sections, the functionality section and the creative section. There's going to be 5 tips for the functionality, 5 tips for the creativity section. So let's just jump right into it. Tip number 1, most of us been saving wrong the whole time. If you just been going to file, save, and then just clicking into a folder, whether it's the FL Studio default project folder or you're doing it on your external hard drive. The only issue with that is, let's say you record something or you render something out or you slice the audio, that won't go into the folder that you saved it in. It will actually go to the default folders of FL Studio where it goes into the recorded section or the render section or the slice audio. The issue with that is files get corrupted easily for some odd reason, or you just don't want to really take this route because you want to have everything in one place, which goes to the first tip, saving everything in one place. So you would go to Option, Project General Settings, and then where you see Data Folder, that's where you will actually go to the your folder on your external hard drive or desktop. But doing it this way, everything that you render, record, or slice will go all in one place. Tip number 2, man, I wish I knew this, and you probably gonna wish you knew this too. Right here, right below the metronome, where you have like this little keyboard, if you right click, you can see that you can pick the keys and you can pick the scale. And what this means is that if you go onto your keyboard, like your actual keyboard for your computer, where it says Z, A, Q, from Z to the right, you're able to play the whole C minor scale or whatever key you're in. From A to the right, you're able to play the whole scale in that other octave. And then Q is the other octave higher from A. Quick demonstration, I'm gonna pull up FL keys. So this is Z. As you can see, it went to this lower octave over here. Now going across like X, C, V, B, and M. And then going A. You see how A started from this C? Because now we're going up an octave. A, S, D, F, G, H, J, K. Once I knew this, I was like, wow. The whole time I was trying to just, mess around and click random notes. But this is gonna be an easier way. So this tip right here, tip number 3, it's a quick tip, but I don't know, like for me, sometimes I come across this issue where I'm dragging sounds over, not really looking, and then next thing you know, I just dragged a whole wave loop or whatever, and then now it's in the background. And if you're anything like me, it's kind of annoying to look at this for some reason to me. So if you've been having that issue and you don't know how to get rid of it and you try to just go here and delete it, you don't have to do all of that. Just press Alt and N, boom. So tip number 4, this is going to be very helpful when it comes to finding plugins a lot faster. So instead of pressing this arrow and trying to find your plugins this way, especially if you have a lot, I always have a hard time finding gross beat for some reason. And unless you have these folders memorized in your head, you won't have that issue. But a fast way to find it is right click on any slot, type in gross beat. Boom. You see it right there. Let's say I wanted a de-esser. It's right there. So that is a faster way to find your plugins. And you actually do the same on your sounds. So you can right click this plus sign. And let's say I'm looking for Nexus. Nexus is right there. Then let's say I'm looking for Omnisphere. It's right there. Now, the last tip in this functionality section is when you have so much plugins, like we're just gonna add in random plugins real quick. This works the same like as if you're on an iPhone and you're just going through your apps all day and then you're not realizing that it's in the background, and this actually puts a lot of work on your CPU. As you can see, I have a chorus, I have the mixer, I got the gross beat and everything, and it just builds up and it slows down your CPU. You always wanna press F12 time to time to clear the section, and everything is cleared. Now, getting into the fun stuff, this is gonna be the creative section. So this will be tip number 6. So let's say you had a short 808 like this. Even though it looks long right here, but in actuality, you can just hear how short it sounds. It doesn't last long. So let's say you was trying to do UK drill kind of 808 slides. You're really not going to be able to do the 808 slides because these 808s are very quick. A tip right here to make your 808s longer. So on the playback, make sure it's on use loop points. So if it's off, turn it on. And yes, it's grayed out, but we'll get back to that later. And then you want to press Control E, and then brings up Edison. That's just a quick way to bring up Edison. And then you want to go to this magnet tool and go to snap to zero crossing, or you could press the number 4 on your keyboard. And what this allows you to do is when you highlight anything, it won't clip. If you look deep into a WAV file like this, it's going to land on a part where it doesn't start to like add clicks or anything like that. So this is actually good for sampling. But what you want to do for this tip is to highlight a part of the wave, make sure it's like a full one. Now I'm gonna actually turn this down, but because it's gonna make this loud noise, you're gonna want to press Control L, and you want to put all the faders at the top to the left and keep everything at the bottom like in a reset position. You can just copy my settings. So make sure you copy the settings. Press accept. So after you press accept, you want to scroll out, and then you want to press Control A, which is another shortcut to highlight everything, and then go to this top right corner and drag it into the sample. And now you see this area is now not grayed out anymore. So we could just hold down the key that we want to play. And now that's a longer 808 that you have. And as you can hear, it has a lot of more harmonics added to it. So if you still want to keep it subtle, you could go to this Mod X wheel, turn it down. So tip number 7, making more realistic hi-hats, or this could be also to your snares, any drum kind of fill. We're just going to do a quick pattern. Go to piano roll. Let's just hear it. See, as you can hear, that sounds very robotic. Now, there's a couple ways on how you can make your hi-hats have a more human feel. So you could just go to each one and just, you know, drop it down like this. That's cool. But another faster way to go about it is Alt and R. Take off pattern mode. And then you could adjust the volumes this way. Or you could adjust the panning, you could adjust like the filter, the release, and the pitch. And then you could go to seed, and then it would kind of like switch through different kind of patterns. Or what I like to do sometimes is Shift and R. As you can see, it starts to highlight randomly. And then I could just hold down Alt, and then with my scroll knob, I could go up or down. So those are just quick ways to like spice up your hi-hats. So for tip number 8, this is going to help you make your kicks match with your 808s a lot faster. Let's say you had an 808 pattern. And you want to copy that pattern onto a kick. So we could copy and paste. The only issue now is that your kicks are playing in different keys. Usually kicks play in one key. You can get creative and keep it this way, but for the most part, it may sound bad. So enable to do this faster, instead of going to each note and pulling it down, you can just press Alt and K. So now you want to use the left click to drag it all the way to the C. And now your kicks is playing all at C. And then you press accept. And the great thing about that tip too is actually you could do something unique with your chords with that. So let me just bring in a loop. So let's play. Now if you do Alt and K, so keep in mind when you do Alt and K, it's going to go back to the last setting that you had it on, but we could widen this back out. And as you can see, it's changing your whole chord progression, and then you could actually come up with something new. Switch it up. So you could just switch the keys. You can add in different chords. Go to a minor. Yeah, you could get really creative with just that like functionality. So for tip number 9, let's say you actually like your chord progression, but you want that reverse sound. And yeah, you could go to gross beat and reverse it, but the only thing is you're going to have to switch around your 808 pattern because you reverse the melody. But this way that I'm about to show you, you're going to be able to reverse the melody and still preserve the notes. We have this chord progression. So what you're going to want to do is press Alt-Y, and you want to have it on flip horizontally and preserve timing. Now, make sure you pay attention to how your chord progression was set, or this could get really messy. So as you can see, it flipped everything, but we're going to have to drag a couple of things over. So let's just highlight this part, and then we're going to do the same for right here. Now we're going to play it. All right, cool. So now what you want to do is go to your playlist. You want to add it in there, right click on the track, go to consolidate from start. And then you want to right click, go to make unique. And also when it went to that export setting, make sure it's on cut remainder, and it's going to be in the right hand corner. I forgot to show you guys that, but keep that in mind so that you don't have any excess leftovers or it's going to make it hard. And even if you didn't do cut remainder, you could always just kind of cut it back down and then go right click on this little wave on the left hand corner and make unique as sample. And when you go to reverse it, it just reverses the sample only. So we're going to reverse, press play. Now the last tip, I wish I knew this. Let's imagine that we had like a whole song and everything. And then in this section, I actually want to change it up. I actually probably want to drop out the drums or whatever. Instead of trying to highlight everything and move it over, what you can do is highlight the section that you want to have space in. Let's say you just want this section, and then you press Control, Alt, and Insert. Boom, it moved everything over. This is probably the next best shortcut as well, because your workflow is going to be a lot faster. There you have it. Those are all these 10 secrets. There's a lot more secrets that I can go over it. So let me know in the comments if you would like to learn more about it, and share with your other producer friends if you found this helpful. Until next time, like and subscribe.